I think everyone is in.
Go ahead, Robert.
Okay, next slide. Bonjour tout le monde. Welcome everyone. Merci de votre participation à notre troisième AGA virtuel. You will see on this chart the word 60 or the number 60. It's because it's the 60th anniversary of our national association, which I think will be in October, but we're carrying the logo on all of our slides for this particular meeting. We acknowledge that the land on which the Ottawa branch office is located is traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. Le territoire sur lequel se trouve la section d'Ottawa est un territoire traditionnel non cédé du peuple algonquin Anishinaabe. We have 9 board directors attending this meeting. They are Dave Bennett, our vice president, who will be becoming president, Paul Bennett, Sharon Squire, Dan Butler, Denis Lavoie, our board treasury, Leslie Laurie, Dan Napier, Christian Strump, and Harry Rutnam, our treasurer. I'm sad to advise you that we lost one of our board of directors this year, Terry Singh. He passed away on April 9. Terry was a tremendous volunteer who served on numerous committees and also on our board for 5 years. He always enthusiastically supported Ottawa Branch and our activities, and he will be deeply missed. Please join me in a moment of silence dedicated to Terry and all the members of our branch who are no longer with us. Je vous demande donc un moment de silence pour les membres qui ne sont plus avec nous. Thank you very much. At this meeting, vous serez invité à voter sur 6 motions. Vote yes or no when you see these options on the screen. Si vous n'êtes pas membre de la section d'Ottawa, veuillez ne pas voter. You can submit questions at any time, and we will answer questions at the end of the formal presentations. Antoine Baillargeon will explain how to submit questions in the chat box on Zoom. Nous répondrons à vos questions après les présentations. Antoine.
Merci, Robert. So good morning, everyone. So to submit a question, you'll need to use the chat box at the bottom of your screen. So you should see the word chat below a small balloon icon at the bottom of your screen. If you do not see the chat box on your screen right now, just move your mouse or click at the bottom of the screen. This will make the black Zoom toolbox appear. And if the toolbar disappears at any point, you can move your mouse on the screen again to make it reappear. On this slide, you can see that we have marked the chat box with a red arrow. So that's the icon you need to click to access the chat box. Encore une fois, vous trouverez la boîte de chat au milieu de la barre d'outils Zoom noire et nous l'avons marquée d'une flèche rouge dans cette diapositive. When you click on the chat box, it will open as shown on this slide here with the second red arrow. Type your questions directly into the chat box and then click the enter key. You should be able to see your question and all other questions that have been submitted. You could submit questions at any time during the meeting. When we get to the questions and answer period on the agenda, our secretary, Denis Lavoie, will read the questions out loud and we will answer them. Donc, lorsque la présentation formelle sera terminée, notre secrétaire, Denis Lavoie, lira les questions à voix haute et nous y répondrons. Thank you. Merci. And back to you, Robert.
Merci, Antoine. Thank you, Antoine. Now, let's deal with the meeting materials, des documents pour la réunion. The meeting documents are on our website, and we send the link to all participants via email before the meeting. Et les documents resteront sur notre site web. Nous avons l'enregistrement de l'AGA et ces diapositives seront sur notre site web après la réunion. We are recording this AGM, and we will put the video and these slides on our website also. Denis Lavoie, our board secretary, will lead the vote on the motions to approve the 2023 AGM agenda, l'ordre du jour de l'AGA 2023, the 2022 AGM minutes, le procès verbal de l'AGA de 2022. The first two motions are moved by Denis Lavoie and seconded by Harry Rootnam. The third motion is moved by Denis Lavoie, seconded by David Bennett. La troisième motion est proposée par Denis Lavoie et appuyée par Dave Bennett. Denis, over to you.
Merci, Robert. Good morning, everyone. When you registered to attend the AGM, we provided you with a link to the above agenda, which was also emailed this week. So the agenda is approval of the minutes, two reports, one from the president, one from the treasurer, election of directors, question and answer, volunteer recognition, VIP guests, and finally, farewell to past president. I'm now going to ask you to vote for approval of the above agenda. Please remember that only Ottawa Branch members are entitled to vote. N'oubliez pas que seuls les membres de la section d'Ottawa ont le droit de vote. You will see a survey. Oh, gotta move this. Thanks. I will see a survey poll on your screen, and you can vote yes or no. Please submit your vote. Veuillez soumettre votre vote maintenant. Alors, je vois que tout le monde a répondu et c'est à l'unanimité que l'agenda est approuvé. The agenda is approved. Thanks a lot. Okay, now next motion. Or now, actually, before I go further, I want to say a special thanks to the volunteer who help us with our AGM minutes. It's very important. You can see the pictures on our screen.
We should take out the results of motion number one.
I don't see it on my screen.
Okay, well, I see it on mine. Sorry, I thought that maybe people would be seeing it.
Okay, no, okay. So I think it's all good. Let me go back here. I want to thank Anna Blauvelt, who does a great job at taking our minutes every year. Et je tiens aussi à remercier sincèrement Jennifer Pouliot, qui a fait un excellent travail de traduction des procès-verbaux de notre AGA à chaque année. Ces deux bénévoles s'assurent que la section d'Ottawa a une allure et une sonorité très professionnelle. We distributed the link to the minutes when you registered for the AGM and again earlier this week. Before I ask for a vote to approve the minutes, I want to pause and ask if anyone has any questions about the minutes. If you have a question about the minutes, now is the time to use the chat box, as Antoine explained earlier. I'm going to ask our branch manager, Linda Barber, if there are any questions on the minutes in the chat box.
I'm just checking right now. Thank you, Denis. Merci beaucoup. In terms of related to the minutes, no, I don't see any questions related to the minutes. There are, people are saying, though, you can eliminate the survey results from your screen by just pressing the little X at the top of the survey results, and they will disappear from your screen. So that's important. And there is also one message about hoping that we could talk about in-person meetings at some point later in the meeting.
All right. Thanks for your help. Since there's no questions on the minute, I will now ask you to vote to approve the 2022 AGM minutes. Please note that only Ottawa Branch members who attended the 2022 AGM can vote to approve the minutes. Veuillez noter que seuls les membres de la section d'Ottawa qui ont assisté à l'AGA 2022 peuvent voter pour approuver le procès-verbal puisqu'ils étaient présents. Please submit your vote now. I see 53 out of 53, 100% approved minutes. So the minutes are approved. If you have this, the quiz on your screen, just click, as Linda mentioned, the little X, and it will disappear. Motion number 3, as your secretary, I would also like to propose an improvement for how we handle the AGM minutes. Because of the 1-year delay between AGMs, it is difficult to ask you to remember what was said and to approve the minutes a year later. Therefore, if you agree, we propose to establish a minutes approval committee to review the 2023 AGM minutes, this meeting, as soon as they will be available. The committee will approve the minutes on behalf of the members. Le comité approuvera le procès-verbal au nom des membres. The committee will also provide you with the approved 2023 AGM minutes at next AGM next year. Le comité fournira aux membres de la section d'Ottawa une copie approuvée du procès-verbal de l'AGA 2023 lors de l'AGA 2024 l'année prochaine. 3 volunteers who are attending today are ready to do this work for you, and their names are on the screen. Randy Baker, Richard Lajeunesse, and Doreen Sarrazin, and we thank them in advance. So I'm moving this motion, and Dave Bennett is the seconder. May I ask you to vote now to approve the creation of a minutes approval committee for 2023 with these 3 volunteers serving on it. Remember, Ottawa Branch members to vote. Please submit your vote. Okay, all the votes are in, and the large majority of the voters have said yes. I see a question, so, but I'm not sure. Dale, I see one person has a question.
This has to do with the process, so it's not in chat. I do believe that while it is appropriate to review, I understand that AGM minutes cannot be officially approved until the following AGM or until until a general meeting. Therefore, I tried to put up my hand before the vote had gone through. I don't believe that it should be an approval committee, but a recommendation, review and recommendation to help speed things along. I'm not sure that this will pass provincial legislation for how meetings are conducted. I'm worried about that.
Denny, let me jump in here now then. Yeah, yes. I appreciate your comment, Dale. No, this is actually best practices in governance, especially when any meeting basically goes beyond a 3-month sort of window, which sort of a quarter window. In fact, of course, our parliamentary authority is Robert's Rules of Order, and it's recommended within Robert's Rules of Order itself that any meeting, when you have a meeting that goes beyond a quarter, in other words, for the next meeting of that group, that assembly, then the recommendation is to put in place a minutes approving committee on behalf of the members itself. So that's basically in accordance with best practices in parliamentary procedure.
Will the minutes before the approval committee does its approval, will they be sent out to the general populace so that if there are any questions, since this is a general meeting, can I ask that the minutes be sent out with a few days in advance so that if anybody does have any errors, corrections, or questions, that they can be raised? Thank you.
That's great. That's a sort of a great recommendation, Dale, and certainly we'll look at it if that's possible. If not, we'll let you know, but certainly we'll try and get that done. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much to both of you for the questions and helping me with the answer. We're lucky to have Dave as an expert in governance with us, and so it is approved, and we will communicate the minutes afterwards. Okay, so back to you, Robert.
Merci beaucoup, Denis. Merci beaucoup. Let's now deal with the President's report, le rapport du Président. The President's annual report for 2022 reflects the hard work of our dedicated board, many volunteers, and excellent staff. The report was delivered with SAGE in late February 2023 and is on our website. Un grand merci au Conseil d'administration d'Ottawa, à nos bénévoles et à notre formidable équipe de bureau avec Linda Barber et Antoine Baillargeon et Alana Moss McLaughlin. Next, please. Let's deal first with advocacy, la défense de nos intérêts. We work with the Council on Aging to help inform our members during the provincial election. We asked local provincial candidates for videos explaining their positions on senior health care, long-term care and home care, age-positive well-being and income security. Nous avons reçu 15 vidéos des candidats et nos membres ont visionné ces vidéos des centaines de fois. We continue to strengthen our connections with federal MPs. We thank volunteer Richard La Jeunesse for arranging meeting with Nasir Yagvi, Ottawa Centre, and Jenna Sudds, Ganata Carleton. We spoke with these MPs about the need for a national senior strategy and improved long-term care and home care, as well as the importance of protecting federal retirees' pensions and benefits. Nous croyons que nos messages ont été entendus et appréciés. Member services, this is such a very active area. To keep everyone safe, of course, you will have noted we kept the office closed and held events on Zoom. We have done that since March of 2020. Over 3,100 members and their guests attended 46 webinars this year. Les vidéos sont sur notre site web. Expert speakers delivered 17 webinars on financial literacy, 27 on healthy aging, and 2 on general interests. Par exemple, nous avons organisé un webinar avec le Musée des sciences et de la technologie du Canada sur la romance de la fameuse locomotive CP1201. Together with the national office, we offered a national webinar on the stock market with Rob Carrick from the Globe and Mail. 800 members across Canada and their guests ont assisté à cet événement partout au Canada. The past summer, we surveyed our members to get their feedback. We thank the 675 plus members who participated. Nous vous remercions également pour vos commentaires dans nos évaluations de webinaires. All our webinars are free, and you are welcome to register guests who might like to try us out. Cette stratégie d'inviter un invité a été la pierre angulaire de notre stratégie de recrutement. As you can see here, there is a un aperçu, vous avez un aperçu de nos webinars qui sont tous gratuits. Entre voisins, chair yoga, vieillir en toute tranquillité, estate planning. You can watch recordings of those past webinars on our website. We also want to remind you that the financial webinars we host do not provide investment advice regarding specific investments. We do not take responsibility for any investment decisions that participants may make, and we do not recommend any specific investments or companies. Notre objectif est de fournir ces informations à nos membres et nous vous laissons le soin de décider ce qui vous convient. Nous avons aussi des offres exclusives. Et en 2022, the Ottawa branch continued to offer our members exclusive local discounts. We have currently 9 local discounts on our website. You have 2 of them here on the slide. We had an offer extended of 33% off AIM Fitness online group fitness training for seniors, which included exercise and nutrition videos and live online motivation sessions, coaching, and Q&A. For the past fiscal year, we had a new offer provided to our members, 15% off Ottawa Senator home games until the end of April 2023, and that was done en collaboration avec la section de l'Outaouais. Check our website for details and more discounts. Maintenant, recruitment. In 2022, we launched our new branch website, which of course you're all familiar now, which is also a recruitment tool designed to showcase the value of membership. Lancé en 2022, notre site web a été rendu possible grâce en partie au financement du programme Nouveaux Horizons pour les aînés du gouvernement du Canada. The red Join Now button gives prospective members the chance to join on every page. Le bouton rouge adhérer se trouve sur chaque page. We are particularly proud of the website because it was designed for 2 purposes: to help you find the information you need on branch activities, and of course, to help us recruit new members. Other recruitment activities, our volunteers participated in 2 Second Career Assistant Network scan webinar for DND. Nous avons encouragé les participants à s'inscrire à un abonnement gratuit d'1 an. Avec la section Outaouais, our volunteers talked to potential recruits at 2022 Réseau FADOC in Gatineau. 41 persons ont manifesté leur intérêt et 11 se sont joints. And through Sage, we distributed 21,000 bookmarks promoting Ottawa Branch. Vous voyez les signets à votre droite. On recruitment and retention, we purchased ad space in the Council of Aging's 2023 calendar. Vous voyez l'espace que nous avons acheté. And volunteers and staff phoned 100% of members who pay by credit card to remind them to renew. Nous avons encouragé ces membres à renouveler et à payer par déduction de pension pour obtenir un rabais de 25%. National Association Award. In 2022, Ottawa Branch was recognized for excellence in the delivery of programs, activities, and services. Nous avons reçu le prix de recrutement et d'engagement des membres 2022 à la réunion de juin 2022 à l'hôtel Hilton à Gatineau. In particular, I must tell you that I'm exceedingly proud of our branch. In the last 8 years, we have won 4 major national awards. In 2016, we won the National Advocacy Award. In 2019, we won the National Membership Recruitment and Engagement Award. In 2020, we won the National Branch Excellence Award for large branches. And in 2022, National Membership Recruitment and Engagement Award. So this work, of course, is the result of all the work at the our board of directors and at the branch level. Let me tell you now about our membership. These two slides are quite significant. As you can see, because of the pandemic, a lot of members left the association, and including our branch. And we ended up 2021 with 33,409 members. But it started growing in 2022 up to 34,419 at the end of 2022. And I must say that it's still growing, because at the end of March this year, we now have over 34,800 members. So every month we're seeing a growth in our membership, showing very active interest on the part of retirees in the association. A word about funding. It remains our biggest obstacle to success. In 2022, all branches received 2%, raising their share of membership-free revenue to 20%. Ce 2% est le résultat direct d'une initiative de la section d'Ottawa à la réunion annuelle de 2022. All year, we participated on the National Committee on Branch Financing. Ça aussi, c'est une initiative qui a été créée à la suggestion de notre section. Les propositions du comité ont été conçues pour aider les sections à accéder à plus de financement. Il y a eu deux propositions. One, to ensure small branches have access to adequate base funding. Two, ensure all branches can apply to the National Board for increased ongoing funding based on demonstrated level. Now, I want to thank you for listening to my president's report. Next up, of course, are the financial report, and I will turn this over now to Harry Rootnam, our treasurer, who will be delivered the treasurer's report. Harry.
I'm sorry, Robert, you just have a few more slides to go.
I'm sorry. Do I have another one? Oh, there's one more slide. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was too eager to turn it over to Harry. Okay, building on our success. I'm sorry, everyone. We, of course, branch community liaison, we continue to build strong connections with senior organizations. Our advocacy, we will continue to advocate with federal MPs, soulever les principaux enjeux des aînés et la nécessité de protéger les pensions et les avantages sociaux fédéraux. We will continue webinars and look at, when it's secure, to integrate with in-person events. And we will encourage members to invite guests to all our events. Nous encourageons les invités à envisager de rejoindre l'association. And now a word about our building. We haven't occupied our building for the last almost 3 years. Well, at least, 3 years. We own our building with no mortgage, but it's been shut since 2020. We have a working group studying potential uses for the building. Do we sell? Do we rent or continue? And the money it represents. Ce groupe fera ses recommandations au conseil d'administration de la section. The Ottawa branch remains accountable to our members to make decisions about the building in their best interest. Mais dans le même temps, la section reste gravement sous-financée. We renew our commitment originally made at 2018 AGM that if there are serious discussions of selling the building, we will consult the broader membership before a final decision is taken. S'il vous plaît, notez que s'il y a une discussion sérieuse sur la vente du bâtiment, nous consulterons l'ensemble des membres avant qu'une décision finale ne soit prise. Now, am I okay to turn this over to Harry?
Yep.
Over to you, Harry. Sorry.
Merci Robert. Good morning, everybody. Bonjour à vous tous. The Treasurer's report will cover 2022, the financial statements, as well as the notes from the auditors. You can read our complete audited bilingual financial statements for 2022 on our website. We've already posted it on our website. Our office sent an email to all AGM participants earlier this week with a link to the website. You will receive another email after the AGM with the website address again. Something important to note about these audited financial statements is that they contain confirmation from the auditor that the statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the Ottawa branch as at December 31st, 2022, and the results of its operations and cash flows for the year then ended, in accordance with Canadian accounting standards for not-for-profit organizations. Also, besides a clean audit report, the auditor also noted that there were no internal control issues, no significant or unusual transactions in the course of the year. There were no disagreements with management during the course of the audit. No major issues were discussed that were not in the normal course of business, and the auditors did not encounter any difficulties during the course of their audit. Next slide, please, Antoine. So this slide represents the revenues and expenses for 2022 and the comparatives for 2021. As you can see, we stayed on budget and delivered on all our commitments and still achieved a small surplus of $4,838. We achieved some savings in 2022 by keeping the office shut and conducting all our activities over Zoom. We also benefited from the 2% increase in membership fee revenue that Robert spoke about. This was a result of an Ottawa branch proposal and benefited all branches. It was also the first branch share increase in over a decade. And we did see a healthy increase in membership too, although these were primarily from the partners of existing members. So it was not a very significant jump in our revenue. Let me elaborate on how we spent the extra revenue. On our staff, trying to maintain the team strength at 3 people, and this was critical to finish the new website that we developed last year and to deliver on our webinar programming. We achieved this primarily by having our former students continue to work with us. So we had the benefit of their experience because they had worked with us before during the summertime. We spent the rest of the government grant that we received to finish our website. We also got a small government grant for our 2022 summer student. Our member services costs were higher in 2022 because of a bookmark project and also to pay for the national webinar that we did with Rob Carrick from the Globe and Mail, both of which Robert also mentioned. Next slide, please. This slide shows the reserves that we have currently as of the end of 2022, and it shows the healthy state of the Ottawa branch reserves. You will recall that we asked the members to vote to establish two reserves at our 2019 AGM. This is the value of these reserves at the end of 2022. The first one, and a very important one, was established at $50,000, and it's called the HR Liability Fund, and it remains at $50,000. We have staff on board in our branch, and therefore we have deemed it prudent to establish a reserve fund for HR. The second one deals with the Facility Improvement Fund, which was established again in 2019. We renovated the offices for $21,000 in 2019 and 2020. 2020 primarily the bulk of the expense. So we have a balance of $9,086 left. And you will also note that the amount of money we have in unrestricted reserves, unallocated equity is growing because of the modest annual surpluses that we achieve. Now we have a total of $70,263 at the end of 2022. And this includes the $4,838 that we achieved in 2022. Our goal is to keep growing this unrestricted reserve to 1 year's worth of operating expenses, which is approximately $258,000. And we would keep that fund in the bank as a recommended risk management best practice. Now I will be asking for your help to vote on a motion to attest that our members have received the 2022 audited financial statements. Remember, only Ottawa branch members are entitled to vote. You will see the motion on the next slide. This motion is moved by me and seconded by Dave Bennett. And the motion is to attest that the 2022 audited financial statements for the Ottawa branch, which show excess revenue of $4,838, have been presented to the members. Accuser la réception des états financiers vérifiés de l'exercice 2022 pour la section d'Ottawa qui démontre un surplus de $4,838. You will see the vote on your screen.
Point of order, there is a question in the chat related directly to one aspect of the budget. I guess that's more for the future budget, but not the receipt of financial statements.
Okay. So on motion 4, I see we have an overwhelming vote in favor. Thank you. So the motion is passed. Now I'm going to ask you to vote. Oh, I've done that. Next slide, please. 27. Just remove this. Okay. So this slide, number 27, is for information only and reflects our budget for 2023 and the 2024 forecast for our expenses. That's a budgeted forecast, and this has been voted by the board of directors. For 2023, you will see that we factored into our revenue budget the 2.4% increased fee that was approved by the National Board of Directors for this year. We also hope to receive a small grant from the government for our summer students in both 2023 and 2024. But essentially, our spending plans for 2023 are modest, very much in line with 2022. However, we are hopeful that the pilot projects to increase branch funding that Robert referenced in his presentation earlier will be approved at the June annual members meeting. If the pilot projects are approved, we intend to submit a business case for an ongoing increase of approximately $80,000 as we have shown in the last column under branch support. Our current thinking is to use the majority of that increase to strengthen our small office team. And this is reflected in the last column as services to members, and this include the wages that would be paid to our staff, including our summer students. The rest would be spent on recruitment and retention. And again, this is reflected in the last column under association activities. We may have an opportunity to obtain some additional one-time project funds this year from a special fund set up so that the branches with surpluses can help other branches. If we can get some one-time project funding in 2023, we would likely focus on recruitment and retention. Next slide, please. So this slide shows the auditors for 2023. In 2021, the Ottawa branch invited bids from 3 firms of auditors, and that included the Fouin Group. The Fouin Group continued to impress us. Nous avons choisi de continuer avec le groupe Fouin en fonction de leur qualification, de leur expérience de travail dans le secteur sans but lucratif, évidemment le prix qu'ils le chargent. Ottawa Branch recommends Fouin Group to provide audit services in 2023. Nous recommandons de continuer avec le groupe Fouin comme notre auditeur pour l'année 2023. You will see the motion on the screen coming shortly. The motion is moved by me, and it is seconded by Denis Lavoie, and that's the appointment of the 2023 auditors, nomination des auditeurs pour l'année 2023. And the motion is to appoint the Fouin Group as auditor for the Ottawa branch for 2023. La motion est de renouveler le mandat du groupe Fouin comme vérificateur pour la section d'Ottawa pour l'exercice 2023. I see again we have an overwhelming vote in favor of the motion, so the motion is carried. Thank you very much. I will return the meeting now back to Robert. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hi, Harry. Robert, just before we go on to the next section, there've been quite a few financial questions, and we were thinking maybe we could answer some of those.
Okay,
Would that be all right?
Okay,
are you okay with this, Harry?
Yes, I'm fine with that, Robert.
Good.
do you want me to read them over to you, Harry? I took
Yes,
notes.
please.
Okay,
Thank you, Denis.
so there's about 10 of them.
Okay, let me know whether it relates to the budget and forecast or to the income statement first.
Well, I'm not sure about that. to tell you
Okay,
the truth.
okay, let's go back.
So the first
can
one is
read.
about the building. Can we rent it now until the decision is made? If we do that, is there space to work and rent at the same time?
There is a committee that is studying the future use of our building, and the committee is meeting currently. The meetings are currently underway, and we have also engaged a lawyer to address the governance issues that relate to the building. So we will be in a position to report on that probably at the next meeting. So as of now, the building, as Robert mentioned, is shut. There is no decision yet as to the future use of the building, whether to rent, to sell, or to leave it as is.
Okay. Is there space? Okay. We noticed in the financial statement, $15,800 in rent expenses. How does this align with the fact that the building is owned with no mortgage? Thanks.
Okay, so the rent that we show in note 5, 15,814, and it was comparative with 15,334 for 2021. This reflects the expenses. We have, of course, the city taxes, property taxes, hydro, we have Enbridge for gas, and we have the water bill, and we also have the insurance. So all the expenses that are incurred by the condo, I call it a condo, are refunded by the Ottawa branch. So it's on a cost basis. There's no profit whatsoever. We pay all the costs that are incurred by a condo company that owns the building.
Perfect.
So this is the reason for the 15,814 that we show in our 2022 financial statements.
Thanks. Very detailed. How would the two proposals recommended by the special committee on funding address or resolve the underfunding of the Ottawa branch?
I think that would be
Harry, I would recommend that one wait until Robert has the question and answer.
Harry, if you're okay, I can answer that.
Yes, please, Robert.
As we said, the special committee on branch financing made two motions, which will be dealt with at the annual members meeting. One of the motion is a pilot project for branches who feel that they are not properly funded. And the pilot projects will be considered by a committee, will then make a recommendation to the board of directors. In our case, the pilot project, if this is approved at the annual members meeting, will lead to hopefully an increase of $80,000, which were shown in the financial statements for 2024. That $80,000 is really the result of that action that's been taken by the special committee on branch financing. But it has to be approved at the annual members meeting in June, and then Ottawa branch has to make a proposal to a committee justifying the amount.
Merci, Robert. If the decision is taken by Ottawa branch to sell the property, will the sale money remain with the Ottawa branch or not, and not the national office?
Okay.
Robert or Harry, either you want to answer that? So the answer is it would stay with us, right?
Yes, that's a reason we've engaged a lawyer to deal with the governance issues. The goal is to retain, to keep the funds. Well, of course, the funds, the proceeds of sale of the building, and then we will decide based on our bylaws whether we would be able to transfer part of that to the Ottawa branch for the occupancy costs. That is the 18,000 that you saw in the financial statements for 2022. So obviously, nothing has been decided yet. We haven't decided to sell the building, but the funds would remain, yes, with the Ottawa branch.
Thank you. A comment here on Treasurer's report, the facility improvement reserve and its small remaining balance. Study on ventilation would be an excellent idea in light of air quality implications for infection control and COVID. I encourage the board to look into that topic. So we'll do that.
Yeah, noted. Yeah.
In expenses, there's a line item for advocacy that has $0 attached to it. Why is there is it there? If nothing is budgeted, would signify no activity?
No, not really. There's a lot of activity on advocacy. However, they're within really the operational costs of the branch and don't require at this stage any additional money. Now, if we were facing a federal election, we might change that. We don't forecast the federal election until 2025. So that's why we didn't put any money under advocacy.
Monsieur Robert, is there anything in the budget for social activities, Christmas, Chanukah gathering?
At this moment, there is no activities because we don't do meetings in person. We used to do a Christmas reception. We used to do a lunch or a breakfast to recognize volunteers. Once the board of directors, the new board of directors decide that it is appropriate to move back to in-person activities, this will certainly be an area that will be looked at.
Okay, I think that would be the last one for the budget. So maybe we can, after this one, proceed. How many staff, full-time, part-time, volunteers in the Ottawa branch? Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, we have we have one full staff that is 4 days a week, another person that's 5 days a week, and we also have a staff that, like summer students that are also working with the office staff. We also have some volunteers we are very grateful for, who are making phone calls to try to track down members that have not paid out their dues and so on. And we have 2 or 3 people that have been doing this over the years.
Okay, a couple more, Robert, and I see a few comments on answering the questions on a topic like this before the vote, and that's a lesson learned for next year, I'm sure. One more, are you proposing to increase the number of staff if the request for 80,000 is approved, and why?
There is an intention to provide an additional person so that the office will be of 3 persons. We don't know if the additional staff will be full-time or part-time, like 3 days a week. And this is to really deal with the very high workload that the staff at the office are experiencing with calls, with emails, with seminars, with advocacy activities, and so forth.
Okay, one more just popped up. If the funding proposals are not approved, Robert, in June, does the Ottawa branch consider other alternatives to address the underfunding problem?
Yes, it will consider all other alternatives. And of course, one of them is, what do we do with the building?
Okay, so for financial, that's good. And then the first 7 questions we can keep for the end. Thanks, Robert and Harry.
Merci, Denis.
Okay, then. Sorry, well, I'll pick it up again, but very shortly. Thank you, Harry, for that excellent report and for the answering of the questions. We now want to present the slate of directors for the election of 2023. And I'm going to ask Dave Bennett, our Vice President, to take the lead on this item. He will be the next Ottawa Branch President, and he will be chairing the board after this AGM. Dave.
Robert, you keep Robert, merci, Robert. I know you keep saying that. First, we want to give you our heartfelt thanks to the directors you see on your screen who have left or are leaving the board after this meeting. Unfortunately, as Robert noted earlier, Terry Singh passed recently. I want to express our sincere condolences to his family, friends, and colleagues with whom we share this sad loss. We sincerely thank all these individuals for their enthusiasm and support, for the generosity with their spirit and their time, and for their dedication to helping Ottawa Branch thrive and grow. Now, I would like to go over the process we use to invite members interested in joining our board. A call for nominations went out in November 2022 via our branch newsletter, and again in late February and early March of this year via national magazine Sage. We received 10 excellent applications, and the nominations committee reviewed them and recommended 5 new directors. The Ottawa Branch Board of Directors agreed with the committee's recommendations. Short biographies for each of the candidates can be found on our website. Our first 3 candidates I'm about to introduce were appointed to fill vacancies on the board in late 2022. Dan Napier, being our first, is a seasoned senior executive with more than 35 years experience in federal and municipal governments, as well as private sector consulting firms. He has been an association member since 2017. After 20 years of service, Dan retired in November 2021 as Director General, Parliamentary Precinct Branch. He has a Bachelor of Landscape Architecture from the University of Toronto and served previously as a Director, Planner, and Landscape Architect in the municipal and private sectors. Dan's volunteer experience also included work as a past board member and a phone line volunteer with the Distress Center of Ottawa. He is a mentor, team builder, a lifetime learner, and continues to seek learning opportunities both in his professional and personal life. Next, we have Sharon Squire. Sharon is currently President, Vision Consulting and Coaching. She retired from the public service in 2022 after 32 years of service in service design, delivery, HR, human resources, leadership, policy and strategy, including serving in the role of Deputy Ombudsman for Veterans. She joined our association in 2022. Sharon has been a public sector board member at the local, regional, and national levels, including chair of the Board of Trustees of the Royal Ottawa Hospital Healthcare Group. Sharon was one of the Esprit de Corps 2022 Top 20 Women in Defense. She's an avid dragon boater and a member of the National Dragon Boat Team. Next, we have Christian Strump. Christian joined the association in 2022. Christian has over 31 years of experience in the federal and territorial public service, both regions and headquarters. He is a certified professional accountant, certified management accountant with an executive MBA from Queen's. Christian retired in 2019 as CFO, Community and Government Services for the government of Nunavut, and then started a successful consulting business. He has served on boards at the local, provincial, and national levels, including the Nunavut Food Bank. Christian enjoys being a mentor, soccer coach, cottager, and traveler. Our next 2 candidates will be new to the board. Steve Chapman retired from the public service in 2022 as Minister Counselor Management and Counsel General for the Embassy of Canada in Mexico City. He joined the association in 2021. Steve also served for 15 years in the Canadian Armed Forces and retired with the rank of captain. Steve has a Master's of War Studies and a BA from RMC, Kingston, and an MPA from Queen's. He chaired the Board of Governors, International School of Kenya, and served as the Dean of the Consulate Corps of the Philippines. Steve is steadily transitioning into retirement, but staying busy in marketing, advertising, partnership, people management, and strategy. Hugh O'Donnell is a senior executive with over 40 years of service and a graduate of Laval University in geodetic sciences. He joined the association in 2022. His most recent position was as chairman and CEO of MMM Group International, focusing on planning, infrastructure, hospitality, and healthcare. Hugh is a former managing director of geomatics with SHL System House, Surveyor General and Director of Surveys and Mapping for Ontario Government, and ADM Geomatics Canada with National Resources Canada. He is a past president, Multi-Faith Housing Initiative and fundraising chair for housing for those at risk of homelessness, the Haven, and mentally and or physically disabled veterans through Veterans House. Hugh has a passion for all things international and those with an active community focus. We also have 3 directors who have volunteered to serve for an additional 2-year term. These include myself, Dave Bennett, Lizzie Laurie, and Harry Ruthman. Therefore, we have a slate of 8 directors for your approval. All of these directors are proposed, I propose for 2023 to 25-year term, for a 2-year term. The motion is moved by Denis Lavoie and seconded by Paul Bennett. Before I call the vote, if somebody has, I'll sort of entertain up to 2 or 3 questions. If somebody has any questions on this, if you can put them in the chat box, and we'll take a look just before we call the vote. Okay, since we see no questions, can we please have the vote screen put up, please? Please remember that only Ottawa branch members are entitled to vote. So please vote now. The motion is carried with 99% approval. Okay, just a second here, please. Thank you. Now, these 8 directors you just approved will join the 4 directors currently on the board, as you see on your screen, and they are currently serving halfway through their initial term. We have Paul Bennett, Helen Buteau, Dan Butler, and Denis Lavoie. I want to thank you. I will now turn the meeting back over to Robert for the question and answer period.
We're now doing the questions. I should say the remaining questions, because we've done quite a few. So if you have any questions, this is the time to type them into the Zoom chat box, and we will read them, the questions aloud, and answer them now. Alors, si vous avez des questions, tapez-les dans le chat box. Nous allons les lire et les répondre. Je demande à Denis Lavoie, s'il vous plaît, pourras-tu nous lire, Denis, les questions qui restent?
Avec plaisir, Robert. We still have 7 or 8 that were not read, and then I look at the end there if there's more. So later on, will you discuss in-person annual meetings again?
Well, that'll be up to the new board. So I think, Dave, I'll turn this over to you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Are there any plan to hold in-person annual meeting again? Oh, don't hear you, Dave.
I just turned myself on mute. Sorry about that. Yeah, yes, we are certainly in discussion. The executive and the board basically have already started discussions on having in-person meetings. Hopefully, at the beginning, it'll be a combination of in-person and hybrid. But that's certainly on our agenda for discussion as we move into the, I guess, the new mandate for the new board. So yeah, I appreciate that question, and we are certainly looking at it seriously.
The minutes, we've already answered about the minute. So we'll send the minutes to everyone for review, and then we'll have the committee approve it. As the federal government put in place a national senior strategy, is the association satisfied with it?
This is a question that would probably better be answered by people at the national level. I think there is a senior strategy that the federal government has in. What we think, I'll give my own personal opinion. I think that, quite frankly, it is not good enough, does not go as far enough as the association would like it to go, particularly on the issue of home care. Next, please.
Yes. Again, when will the office open and staff return work to the office? It's TBD, but we're looking at it depending.
I'm sorry, Denis, I missed that. Could you read this a little bit louder?
Again, when will the office open and staff return to work in the office?
Of course, as Dave answered, this is a question that they'll be looking at. We can't give you, I think, Dave, you'd agree with me that there's no date contemplated at this time. It's something that the board will have to consider. And I should say that talking about the our current building, it would require some work to be done on the quality of the air and so on, because it's really not appropriate right now for staff to be working in the building itself.
Somebody's asking about the 15% reduction for senator's ticket. Will it be again available next year?
Maybe the best person to answer that would be Linda. She was very prone in negotiating it, and I think you, Denis, did some work on it. Was there any talk that it would be applicable next year?
I thought it was, but Linda would. Is Linda around?
Yes, I am. No worries. Yeah, we're certainly hopeful. We're waiting to hear back from the senators of how great an experience it was for them. But we're definitely going to be approaching them and asking about the idea.
Okay. How and when do we suggest ideas for items to lobby, as well as suggestions for tools for retirees?
This is really also a matter for the National Association. The National Association as a advocacy committee, which of course develops the policies and the advocacy directions of the organization. The best way to do this, if the branch has any particular issues, is to address them directly to the advocacy committee. And also we can use, of course, our two directors that are representing the Ottawa branch, the Ottawa district at national, Michael Fine and Danielle Brunet, who will also be able to transmit the needs, the ideas that the Ottawa branch gets. So that's the process, the way it works. But the decisions are made by the National Association Board of Directors.
Merci, Robert. One about legality. What is the legal status of the branch? Is it an entity on its own, or is it part of the legal structure of the new National Association?
Dave, would you like to take that?
I certainly can. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, we are absolutely a branch, I guess, of the national body. We are not, we are certainly not in any way on our own. I just put it that way. I'm just looking for the right words. Sorry about that. But no, we are no longer, when we basically joined the branch back in, I guess, 2017, or the national body back in 2017, we sort of lost our Ontario sort of recognition and just became part of the national branch. So we basically work on behalf of the national branch itself.
Okay, I'm just at the bottom now, going back to this one here. I have been very dissatisfied with claims payment for 2022 from PSHCP, physiotherapy, foot care, and so on, considering that OHIP essentially cover drugs. Are we getting much value from the PSHCP? Will it be better with Canada Life? I'm wondering about the experience of other members. So just a comment. Somebody else was saying maybe we should have a webinar or some kind of a discussion on that subject. So something we can take and see if we can have a webinar. What do you think?
Well, first of all, Canada Life is really taking over on July the 1st. As part of that, also, there have been, during the past year, improvement made to the public healthcare plan. It's on the website of the National Association. So you should go on the website of the National Association. You will find the information on the new healthcare plan. And I think it will be up to the National Association to seek improvements as we go further, because there are committees being put in place to deal with that. So that, again, I know it's a comment, but I'm providing you with some additional information.
Yeah. See, another one here, maybe we can copy and use our advocacy group at the national. It's pretty technical. Has thought been given to lobbying the government to set up a website so that recently retired public servants can see how much they are actually owed in terms of back pay for excess leave or payouts. Currently, nothing of the sort exists. As soon as you retire, you no longer have access to your CWA My Key, so can no longer see your leave balances. Having a tool for retirees to view their leave balances would be beneficial, especially given the ongoing problems related to errors in calculating leave balances, many associated with Phoenix.
I think I can commit that we will transfer this request to the national office.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What do you need members to volunteer for to help with over the coming year?
I would turn that over to Dave and maybe Linda to answer. They can give you some general indications of where we will need volunteers. Dave or Linda?
That's a really good question, Colin. We're not sure just yet. I guess that's the easiest answer. We have our first board, well, we're going to have a first board meeting following this this meeting, basically certainly for the election of officers, but our first full board meeting will be early June, at which time we will be taking a look at what the mandate is. We'll be taking a look at what committees we have and what representation we're going to need or what volunteers we need to assist with the committees or in the ongoing projects. So yeah, I guess that's where we're at right now, but we don't have anything specific I could sort of answer to right now until basically we meet in June. So I would recommend that, or maybe what we'll do is I'll talk to our manager or office manager and see whether or not we can send out a request for volunteers based on the things that we need. But certainly I have your name on the top of my list. Thank you.
Any ideas on having a workbook, guidebook on how retired public servants can work as casuals and contractors, step-by-step guide on registering with CRE, etc.? Are there any opportunities, venues for members who wish to practice their French?
Ooh, I would think that if there is an idea or an action on that front, it would have to be by the national office, because it would not only apply to the Ottawa branch, but to all branches across the country. So it's something to certainly, we can certainly transfer that idea to the national office.
Yeah, and I'd ask Antoine to copy these topics so we can take them over to the national, please. Somebody mentioned sorry not to see more women nominated on the board, and Robert, I know you've been working hard to do that. Any comment on that one, Robert?
Well, I can speak from the when we went to the membership in the fall, or and for this particular meeting, as Dave mentioned, we had 10 candidates. Very, very much the high majority were men. Women, one woman applied, and we think that we would want to grow to have more women on the board. And I know this is one objective that Dave wishes to undertake in his new mandate.
Thanks, Robert. Did the AGM meet the quorum? I could answer that one. The quorum was 50, I believe, and we have 90 participants. So yes, it met the quorum. Thank you for everyone's interest in being a board of director. How does diversity factor into the selection and recommendation of board directors? Does the makeup of the board reflect the diversity of the membership of the Ottawa chapter? Merci.
It does not properly reflect the membership, and that's another area where we need to make improvements.
I will add though, Robert, if you don't mind, I will add that we do highlight the need for that when we send out a nominations form, or we send out a request for people to sort of join the board, to not, to become a member of the board. So it's certainly high on our list. we do basically, like I say, we do promote it. And we certainly ask for it as part of, but again, when we get our candidates, we have to select the candidates that we have that come in at the time, so.
One comment here about advocacy, and again, advocacy is mostly done at the national level. So you can reach the advocacy team of the National Association at this email address, advocacyteam@federalretirees.ca. One about French here. I'm not sure if it's a question or a comment. I have to read it. I used to get so frustrated when someone went on a French course for a year and I tried to speak to them in French and their answer was, please speak to me in English. What was the use of spending so much money and it served nothing? Yes, they need to practice their French, but don't seem to want to. So that's a comment. And that's why we try to have both official languages in the meeting. If people have questions in French, please, I can certainly answer them the best of my knowledge. As a not-for-profit, do you fall within the realms of ONCA?
Dave,
No, we
would
don't.
you like that? Yes, please, Dave.
Actually, yeah. No, we do not fall. Again, we are not, I guess, legally sort of registered with the ONCA. That was sort of given up in 2017 when we became an official branch of the national body. So.
Okay, there's a comment there here for about the process for next meeting. You know, answer questions before voting, essentially. So we've got that. Thanks, Jeff. Continuous improvement. Part one of the French question, this could actually be done on a local basis. Lots of people in the NCR who might be interested. This could be an informal group, maybe send out a message to members of the Canada branch to see who's interested. It's a good suggestion. Yeah, I work a lot with webinars. Maybe we could have informal group to practice French. So that's something I can take on. Thank you for the suggestion. People would like to know if there's any existing resources to explain process on registering with CRA on setting up a consultancy.
I don't know, maybe Dave knows about this, but certainly, again, it's a question that would probably be better answered by the National Association. Oh, yes, indeed.
I would also say that I was consultant with DND before, and a lot of those answers and process are with PWGSC. So that's where you got to go, and they keep changing. So something to keep in mind. You know, there's a lot of good topics here for possible retirees webinars again. So I'm writing them down, and Antoine, please help me keep all of these good ideas. Somebody, what is ONCA? Could you spell it out for us, Dave?
It's already been.
The ONCA is the Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporations Act.
Thank you
In
very
Canada,
much.
there's two acts, one or there's a number of acts, I guess, but there's provincial acts regarding corporations, as well as on the national level, there's the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, which is what the NAFR, our National Association, is bound to. So.
Thank you very much for your time in answering the questions. That's all we have now. And so over to you, Robert.
Merci beaucoup, Denis, and thank you very much. Merci beaucoup pour vos questions. C'est très intéressant et beaucoup de points très pertinents. Now is the time to go to volunteer recognition. We have two volunteer recognition awards. One is the Stephen Troy Volunteer of the Year Award for 2023, And of course, it's the 60th anniversary of the National Association. So we have 60th anniversary certificates of appreciation. Let's go to the Stephen Troy Volunteer of the Year Award. Our winner, of course, is Diane Law. Diane manages the Ottawa Branch In Memoriam section in Sage. She helps families to memorialize their loved ones by publishing their names in Sage. She offers condolences on behalf of the branch and ensures that these families receive a copy of Sage magazine as a keepsake. She joined the association in 2005. She began her long service on our branch community liaison committee in 2015. She also ably represented our branch on the Council of Aging Health Issues Committee for 4 years. Diane tirelessly promoted the sharing of information on health and health advocacy issues, and her commitment and dedication are very much appreciated. Congratulations, Diane. Félicitations, Diane. If you would like to honor a past branch member by having her or his name included in our In Memoriam section, please send Diane an email at the address that you see on the bottom of this slide. I think Diane is attending this meeting at this time. Diane, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Robert. Well, I'm kind of overwhelmed by this honor. I appreciate it very much, as well as the flowers that I just received and the wonderful plaque. You can see it on the slide, but it looks a lot prettier in real life. Thanks very much. I'd first like to say that I joined the Branch Community Liaison Committee because I thought that we need to show others that aren't public federal servants that we care about them, about the community. And I think that is exemplified by the work that this committee has done. It was one of the main thing that I'll draw your attention to is the Neighbors Helping Neighbors program, which helps people who want to care for caregivers, gives them some guidance. And it was just opened my eyes when I saw the work that they were doing as to the wonderful people that were on that committee. The late Terry Singh was one of them, and also Sheila, Mary, Patricia, Vinnie, the late Vern, Asif, and Sharon. Those people I worked with for the time that I was on that committee, and they were just wonderful to work with. Also, I should mention the leadership we received from Rebecca Belanger, Richard Wagner, Christine Delage, and Helen Nadeau. They were also very helpful to the work of that committee. In addition, I have to mention the people you don't see very often. They're behind the scenes, like Linda Barber, Alex Charette, Antoine Bergeon, Alana Moss McLaughlin, and all the students over the years that have helped with the work of that committee. The Health Issues Committee at the Ottawa Council on Aging was another eye-opener. I won't give you all the many wonderful people that were on that committee, just to say that Bonnie Schrader is a wonder. She works in the office there and it's very helpful to everybody. So that was one of the benefits of being a volunteer, was meeting with these people. You could see from the people that were running for our board that there's a lot of amazing people in this association. And when I contact the people left behind from our members who have passed and read their obituaries, that is reinforced again. Sometimes I just read out to my husband some of the accomplishments of the people that I see in their obituaries, the countries they've traveled to, the things they've accomplished, their volunteer work in the community. It's really quite amazing, and it's very rewarding. And it's just a pleasure to be involved in this association as a volunteer. I would encourage anyone to take that step and join in the community and in the volunteering with NAFR in an active capacity. This is in addition, of course, just to being a member of NAFR. You know, those webinars are fantastic. And I'd like to really thank everyone who's behind you don't see all the people that are behind the scenes making those webinars happen, but it's been wonderful. So that's all I have to say. Thank you and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Diane. Now, let's move to our 60th anniversary certificates. This year, we have 4 60th anniversary certificate to give out. These certificates are in grateful recognition of commitment to the National Association of Federal Retirees and its members. Could we move to the slide showing the recipients, please? So for raising awareness and recruiting new members at Second Career Assistance Network SCAN events, we have Martha Can, Georges Nadon, presentateur, and McWhorter, presentator. These 3 volunteers on your screen on the left faithfully represent the association at Second Career Assistance Network, or SCAN events, put on by National Defense to help their members transition to a second career. Wayne and George's made formal representation on the benefits of the association, and with Martha, all 3 of them meet one-on-one with potential new members to encourage them to join us. We thank Wayne, George, and Martha sincerely for their enduring commitment to show Ottawa Branch at its most professional best and help us grow. Congratulations to the 3 of you. It is also my pleasure to thank Monina Running for her important contribution to our advocacy work. As I mentioned earlier this morning, before elections, we tried to communicate key senior issues to federal and provincial candidates, and we tried to get them to tell us where they stand on our many issues. Monina does an excellent job in tracking down these candidates and encourage them to work with us. Monina's hard work has been the reason we have so many candidates participate and send us videos, and we thank them sincerely. Monina est la raison pour laquelle nous nous retrouvons avec autant de vidéos de candidats sur notre site web que nos membres peuvent regarder avant de se rendre aux urnes. Un immense merci à ces merveilleux bénévoles. We send a huge thank you to these amazing volunteers. Next, please. We're very honored this morning to have as guest speaker Roy Goodall, our national president. It's my immense pleasure to introduce Roy. J'ai maintenant l'immense plaisir de vous présenter le président de l'Association nationale, Roy Goodall, que nous avons invité à prendre la parole à notre AGA aujourd'hui. Let me give you a bit of background on Roy. He served in the Canadian Armed Forces for 38 years, retiring with the rank of major. He served in national and international military organizations across Canada, in the US and Europe. Along the way, he also completed a bachelor's degree in economics and political science and a master's degree in public administration. Roy, you were very busy. He first volunteered with the Calgary and District Branch, and then he joined the board in 2005, where he served as a director, a treasurer, a first vice president, president, and past president. After completing his term as branch president in Calgary, Roy served as the provincial advocacy officer for Alberta, and then joined the National Board of Directors in 2015 as one of the 2 Prairie District Directors. Après avoir terminé son mandat de président de section, Roy a occupé le poste d'agent de plaidoyer provincial pour l'Alberta, puis s'est joint au conseil d'administration nationale en 2015 en tant que l'un des 2 directeurs du district des Prairies. On the national board, he served as association treasurer, chair of the finance committee, chair of the audit committee, chair of the SAGE editorial board. He also chaired 3 ad hoc committees and served as pensioners representative on the nomination committee for the Public Service Pension Investment Board. Roy was elected national president in 2022. As you can see, the association is very fortunate to have Roy as our leader. And I want to say how much I've appreciated working with him as a colleague. Roy, over to you.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to the members of the Ottawa branch at your annual meeting. I would also like to thank Linda and Antoine for organizing my participation while I'm attending the Prairie District meeting in Winnipeg. To members of the Ottawa branch, you probably know Robert has been awarded the association's highest leadership award, named for the association's longest serving president, Claude Edwards. The award will be presented to Robert at the volunteer recognition dinner during the annual meeting of members in late June. Now, during the 6 years Robert has led the Ottawa branch, he has also served on the association's National Advocacy Committee, the National Nominating Committee, as a co-chair of the President's Forum, and as a member of the Special Committee on Branch Financing. While leading your branch, educational programming, particularly on financial literacy and healthy aging, became a significant part of the branch's value proposition for its members. Robert's interest in financial matters led to a proposition being submitted to an annual meeting of members in 2020 that resulted in the creation of a special committee on branch financing. From its first meeting to its last meeting, which will actually occur just before this year's annual meeting of members, Robert was an active participant in the committee's deliberations, and he was instrumental in the development of a $600,000 three-year pilot project for branches that have a need for recurring funding they cannot support within existing membership remittance. After this committee stands down at the end of this year's annual meeting of members, Robert will stay on as a member of the Branch Infrastructure Reserve Allocation Committee. Robert, thank you for your dedication to the association, the leadership of your branch, and your efforts that have benefited all members of the association. Robert has not been alone in advancing branch and association goals. He has been assisted by strong directors and skilled staff. Your board's strength and its effort to support all branch and association members with offerings such as the Rob Carrick Financial Literacy webinar are appreciated across the association. You may know that the association was created at a convention held on October 16th and 17th in 1963 in Ottawa. That convention brought together just over 20 retirees, representing a total membership of 1,600. Those retirees established an association to protect federal retiree pensions and to seek government policy changes and additional retiree benefits desired by all members. The association has done a remarkable job of defending our pensions and gaining additional benefits during the previous 60 years. Besides marking the association's 60th anniversary this year, we are also celebrating the RCMP's 150th anniversary. So congratulations to anybody on this webinar who was a member of the RCMP. In the 60 years that have passed since the association was founded in 1963, it has evolved from one branch to 78 branches and a robust national office with paid staff. We started as a grassroots organization, and we are still a grassroots organization with over 1,000 volunteers working on branch boards, as advocacy program officers, as branch service coordinators, and as communication services officers. We have also transitioned from an association with incorporated branches and triennial conventions to one without incorporated branches and the use of annual meeting of members. Today, we are both a volunteer-based organization and a corporation with a revenue stream of approximately $8.7 million. Some of the association's successes follow. In 1973, the introduction of full pension tax indexation. In 1998, FSNA was formally chartered and started business as a not-for-profit corporation. In 1992, we gained the extension of survivor pensions to those who marry in retirement, and significant improvements to the supplementary death benefit. In 1994, we were instrumental in the formation of the Coalition for Seniors for Social Equity. In 2000, the association was formally recognized as one of 3 parties governing the Public Service Healthcare Plan. In 2007, the implementation of pension income splitting was introduced. In 2017, the association's Veteran Outreach Initiative engaged with over 500 Canadian veterans and ensured their voices were heard by the federal government. To go back 1 year, in 2014, as a result of the creation of the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, our association changed its name and introduced a new set of bylaws. In 2022, Treasury Board agreed to the renewal of the Public Service Healthcare Plan, negotiated with the Partners Committee, and on 3 March 2023, the Public Service Healthcare Plan Directive was agreed by the Partners Committee. Now, the annual plan fee, normally effective on the 1st of April, should be known this month, and it will also be effective on the 1st of July 2023. At the end of November 2022, the association participated in the founding convention of the Canadian Coalition Against Ageism in Toronto. This coalition is a nationwide social change movement to combat ageism against older people while protecting and strengthening their human rights. The association will participate, we will be active, but we will not take a leadership role. For years, perhaps decades, the association has been asked to nominate members who possess specific expertise to sit on 5 government committees. A couple of years ago, the government advised the association that our nominees must be representative of diversity and equity-deserving groups, including women, individuals who identify as Black, Indigenous, or persons of color, people with disabilities, and members of the LGBTQ community. This is a challenge because the association's database does not contain the information we need. Consequently, we're establishing a secure database of members whom are willing to self-disclose why they meet the government's diversity criteria. We believe this will work because our recruitment of an observer for the Public Service Pension Advisory Committee produced 38 applications. Now today, I'm attending your annual meeting while sitting in Winnipeg attending the Prairie District Conference. This works, but it could be better. So after this year's annual meeting of members, the National Board of Directors will work with districts to coordinate the content and the timing of district meetings next year to ensure national staff are available to brief attendees on salient association issues, provide training, develop discussion teams, and ensure the board leadership team is available to attend. I think all of you know that COVID-19 hit us very hard. It sapped our strength and it sapped the energy of our members. Both our membership and those using MADOC took a hit. Membership declined steadily and hit a low of 165,329 at the end of 2021. Since then, it has rebounded, climbing steadily, and today our membership is 168,337. Your National Board of Directors will continue the evolution of the strategic plan work that commenced in December and gained steam in March with the first full board day devoted to strategic issues. A renewed association strategic plan will be ready by the end of this year. The National Board is collaborating with branches, with the Special Committee on Branch Financing, and with the President's Forum to enhance its understanding of services and benefits desired by our members. Now, even though we are 168,000 strong, more than half of all federal retirees do not belong to our association. So as branches become more engaged with their communities in ways that will ensure community members know what is association volunteers living in their community that are either responsible for or contributing to the success of the community event they're attending, the more likely non-member federal retirees are to see these efforts and join the branch to promote seniors advocacy, or community issues they support. Likewise, as a member of the Canadian Coalition Against Ageism, our advocacy program officers and volunteer activities as both a defender and promoter of policies such as the equitable healthcare services and programs and services that will allow older adults to age in dignity in a place of their choosing, the more likely it is that the association's advocacy policies and efforts will be recognized and supported by like-minded organizations. At this time, we are seeking government commitment to a safe long-term care act, a clearly defined national senior strategy, a national pharmacare program, support for caregivers, that is, increasing the value of the Canada Caregiver Tax Credit, equitable outcome for veterans, that is, clear and transparent claim processing and the removal of barriers to fair treatment, resolving the Phoenix pay issues fairly by the end of 2023, and conducting a member survey of the Pensioners' Dental Service Plan, which is up for renewal. In conclusion, I will conclude where I started, thanking you, interested members, all volunteers for your dedication, your work, and the support of the Ottawa branch, your district directors, and the association during the past year. Truly, you make a difference. We would not be where we are today without your support and interest in our activities. I appreciate your interest, and I know the National Board of Directors appreciate your dedication and support as you promote our advocacy efforts. Thank you. Robert, if there's any questions, perhaps I can try and answer a couple at this time. Thank you.
I wonder if any of the members attending have any questions for Roy. Denny, do we have questions? No, there are no questions, Roy. So first of all, I'd like to thank you very much for your comments. And, on my part, I continue to wish you the best of success in your position as national president. And thank you very much for participating at our meeting this morning.
Thank you for that opportunity, Robert, and I look forward to working with you.
Oops, Roy, just a minute. There's a question for you.
Yeah, somebody just said they have a question, but they didn't type it yet.
Okay, hasn't typed it yet. Okay. Could you wait for a minute or so?
Oh, I can.
Question?
How about we let Colin unmute and ask the question directly?
Okay, Colin Cantil. Yeah, please ask your questions.
Thanks very much. So Roy, there was some stuff in the chat about some questions about whether people have any comments about benefits changes under the public service healthcare plan. I don't want to ask about that, but in specific, but it occurred to me that what's changed a little bit is a few of the changes that I see them making are going to benefit employee needs more and retiree needs a bit less. I'm wondering if the association would consider looking into the possibility of an additional group private healthcare arrangement that might provide some missing benefits that may be unlikely to be done on a government shared cost basis with the entire public service healthcare plan, because they might not be of interest to the employee members, which I think are probably the government's main focus as well.
That's an interesting question. I can tell you that the Partners Committee, which consists of federal retirees, our organization, union representatives, and the employer, the three parties looked at a wide range of suggestions, comments, changes, etc., and came to a decision to support the plan that was recommended to the Treasury Board. Treasury Board approved it. Since then, we have learned that there are some issues such as physiotherapy, which may not meet the needs of our members. We are attempting to collect and identify medical issues that may not meet the needs of our members, and then we will advance them because there is an opportunity to revisit the public service healthcare plan in 2 years. So our advocacy team is collecting comments from members, and any member who feels that the current plan does not meet their needs should identify the shortcomings that they see so that we can formulate a position going forward on further improvements to the public service healthcare plan. Thank you.
So Roy, how do I get my input to you?
Sorry, how
do I get my input to you?
Well, you submit it to the advocacy team, and the advocacy team brings it to the board because whatever decisions are made will be made by the board.
Okay. Thank you very much. Again, I don't think there are any other questions, so.
There's one more, sorry.
There's one more, okay, one more question.
What about dental plan? Are we looking at getting better plan for seniors? Sun Life is very limiting for work for seniors.
Thank you. Again, an interesting question. The public or pensioners dental service plan has been around since 2001. It's actually a government plan. It does not meet the needs of working employees at the moment. So it is being renegotiated and efforts are being made to enhance the benefits. That plan will be extended to us. We have not looked elsewhere, and looking elsewhere would probably cost our members more and would require significant analysis and consideration. But again, the board, if we're going out with a survey to our members to find out what it is they feel needs to be improved with the pensioners dental service plan. Thank you.
Other questions? Denis, are there other questions?
No, there's none.
Again, thank you. Thank you very much, Roy. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to your members, Robert, and I look forward to working with you when you're on the Branch Infrastructure Reserve Allocation Committee. Thank you.
Okay, looking forward to it. Fine, thank you. Now, I think it's over to Dave.
Yes, it's over to me. Antoine, can we, yeah, okay, here we go with the spotlight. Now it is my privilege and honor to say a few words about our departing president, Robert Giroux, and to thank him for the extraordinary contribution he has made to the Ottawa branch. Robert joined the Ottawa branch in 2012 and first served as treasurer. He took over as president in 2017. Since 2018, Robert has also led the separate corporation that owns the building where the branch office is located. Here, Robert has steered the essential governance work to formally establish a separate corporate entity with its own letter patent and bylaws. One of the hallmarks of Robert's presidency has been the branch's full expansion into educational programming on financial literacy and healthy aging. Robert's vision was for the branch to offer educational information on a regular basis as part of our value proposition so that our members can enjoy a safe, secure, healthy, and happy retirement. Since 2017, Ottawa Branch has delivered on Robert's vision by holding 186 educational events that have been attended by over 11,000 members and guests. As Roy just basically mentioned, at the National Association level, Robert has served on the National Advocacy Committee and the National Nominating Committee, and as co-chair of the President's Forum. Most recently, Robert spearheaded the establishment of a special committee on branch funding to review current financial arrangements and ensure adequate funding for the future. Robert has served on this special committee representing the Ottawa districts ever since. Since 2019, Robert has carved out a new path of collaboration with our Canadian Association of Fellow Retirees for Ottawa and the Council of Aging of Ottawa to advance our mutual interest in helping seniors. Thanks to Robert's leadership, the Ottawa branch has won 3 national awards during his tenure as president. I know Robert mentioned 4, but during his tenure, these include the 2019 National Membership Recruitment and Engagement Award, the National Branch Excellence Award in 2020, and in 2022, the National Membership Recruitment and Engagement Award. Since 2017, Robert has chaired the Ottawa Branch Nominating Committee and has encouraged, welcomed, and guided in 20 new directors. For many, their decision to volunteer was motivated by the opportunity to work with Robert personally. Robert has also proactively encouraged Ottawa candidates to serve on the National Board of District Directors for Ottawa and Nunavut. 2 of them have gone on to serve as National Vice President and Treasurer. As a result of his work and commitment to the Ottawa Branch members, this year Robert has won the National Association's Claude Edwards Awards, which Roy mentioned. This award recognizes an association volunteer who demonstrated outstanding leadership and perseverance in advancing an association's cause and causes which benefit members. Of note, for those who weren't aware, Robert is a past chair of the Board of Governors of the University of Ottawa, a former secretary of the Treasury Board, a former deputy minister, and a member of the Order of Canada, with honorary doctorates from 7 Canadian universities. Very accomplished. For me, it has been a privilege to serve on the board of directors under Robert's leadership, with an educational, excellent professional and personal experience. On behalf of the members of the board and the Ottawa branch, I want to sincerely thank Robert for his leadership and commitment to the growth and success of the Ottawa branch, and in readying the branch to face the challenges of the future. Thank you, Robert. I will now turn the meeting back over to you. Robert.
Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you. Merci beaucoup, Dave. Before I say a few comments, I should say that I've received this morning one of my favorite medicine and also a beautiful plaque, which I'm very grateful for, coming from, I'm sure, from the members of the boards of directors and the staff. Alors, merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup de ma médecine et la belle plaque. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to serve as your branch president for the past 6 years. So many activities and events have taken place. Our role in advocacy for 2 federal elections and the last Ontario provincial election, la croissance dans les services aux membres, le grand nombre de séminaires virtuels pour nos membres et aussi pour le recrutement de nouveaux membres. The strengthening of our relations with Ottawa-based senior organizations, very helpful in our advocacy activities. Nos liens solides avec la section Outaouais et son président Donald Derry. I remember fondly our annual general meetings in person with some 400 members participating, and the success of our last 3 virtual Zoom meetings, and many others. Un grand merci à tous les directeurs avec qui j'ai travaillé dans les 6 dernières années pour leur amitié et leur support. I wish the new board of directors under the leadership of Dave Bennett health and success. Finally, I consider the appointment of Linda Barber as branch manager in 2017 as one of my best moves. Linda has done a tremendous job and has been my support for the last 6 years. Elle peut prendre beaucoup de crédit de ce que nous avons accompli depuis 6 ans. I also want to thank Antoine Baillargeon and Alana Moss-McLaughlin for their support. And thanks to all of you. Now for closing remarks. Again, huge thanks to our volunteers and staff. Un gros merci à nos bénévoles et nos employés. I want to thank especially Daniel Brunet and Michael Fine, our 2 district directors for Ottawa and Nunavut. Hélène Nadeau, National Association Vice President, who was also an Ottawa and Nunavut director. Roy Goodall, National Association President. Anthony Pizzino, National Association Chief Executive Officer, and all the staff at the National Office for their assistance and support. Nous apprécions beaucoup le soutien de nos directeurs de district et de l'Association nationale. Please watch for our electronic newsletters on details on more seminars. Gardez un œil sur nos bulletins électroniques. We hope you have a safe, healthy, and happy summer ahead. Restez en sécurité et en bonne santé. Bonne journée. Merci.